Good evening and beyond Venu, my fond fair friends, family, and subscribers. This is your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, here to bring you yet another part of What If Naruto Could Summon a Glavenus? Now, where we last left off, they were about to begin Stage 2. And, yeah, they get introduced to the current initiator of Stage 2. You all know her, you all love her, you've all seen the memes of her, Miss Kurenai. And oh boy, does she do an excellent job explaining what's going on. Basically, each team will have a set amount of scrolls. You're supposed to keep those scrolls and add more to your collection. There's only a certain amount of scrolls allotted for the entire. There's only a certain amount of scrolls around, and each group must have at least, well, 5 of each to be allowed entry. If I'm not mistaken, could have been 3 of each. Actually, I'm going to check that real quick. Pardon me. Okay, my mistake on that part. It was 1 of each heaven and earth scroll. My bad. I guess I was a greedy bastard. Can't really blame the others for doing so. But yes, essentially they said you could gain them by any means necessary, trade, fighting, or straight up theft. As long as you got them and were able to get to the end, you could pass. And so, Naruto's team, they headed out. Well, everyone else's team headed out as well, so yeah. However, Naruto felt an uneasiness. A very bad uneasiness. And Garrus fucking hated. And he loved this place, but he fucking hated something in there. Like something was getting on his bad side. Something was basically emitting some type of aura in there that was basically telling him it's number 1. And Garrus isn't one to be told he's not number 1 on anything. Hell, the only one that Garrus will acknowledge is better than him is, well, Naruto, because he beat him. And so Garrus is happy to be in this forest where there's possibly new, wild, dangerous game he could possibly eat and hunt and kill in these next 5 days. But he's also kind of curious what the fuck's going on. Which you can't really blame him. But he does keep this to himself in order not to worry the others. And so they carry on. Now, I will say that they've had a relatively easy journey so far. They get about halfway into the forest. They're all relaxed, they're feeling calm. Naruto and Garrus are on high alert, listening for anything that could come and screw them over. Sasuke's trusting in them to do so. And in turn, he's keeping an eye out for anything in front that could pose a threat. And Sakura's being Sakura. We all know this. Moving on, we'll get to the part where you guys actually came here to see, because 9 out of 10 says you didn't come here for the hullabaloo. So, I'll get to the point for all of you. Because I'm your humble narrator, and I really like to keep the views up. So, here comes the big, bad pedo snake himself, Orochimaru. And boy, oh boy, does Garrus immediately catch a whiff of what this thing is, because he knows it's not human. He knows that thing isn't human any longer, not after all the experiments he's done on himself. No, 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 no. He's an it. It's an it. He had no idea what it is, but it's an it. He senses a weird amount of chakra energy flowing through him, and it's just making him want to either rip and tear it apart or run away. He hasn't made up his mind yet, but he quickly informs Naruto, get ready. Huh? It's just one guy. Get ready. My instincts are going off the chart, which means this sumbitch is dangerous. Get ready. Right. As Naruto quickly slides on his tiger claws. You remember? These bad boys. Yeah. He quickly slides those on. Says, alright. About as ready as I can be. Right. Garrus? Yeah? Yeah. Hold back. What? Hold back and guard Sakura. I'm going to observe this bastard and make sure I keep my eye on him. Sasuke's likely going to antagonize him and probably attack first. Sakura is the only one that knows how to heal on our team. We need her alive and safe. Can I count on you to do that? Fine, but if you get yourself killed, I'm gonna kick your ass. Deal. As Naruto begins looking at him, taking up a somewhat slouched yet defensive posture. Orochimaru not paying this any mind as he talks with Sasuke, basically telling him to hand over his scroll, and he'll let his team go. Sasuke, well, being Sasuke, kinda says, yeah, no. You don't. Yeah, you have no bargaining power here. Get lost. Then he brings up something about the Uchiha. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Fight starts. Because we all know this was going to happen one way or another. And to be honest, we all know Sasuke's kind of easy to trigger into a fight once you start talking about his brother. Or his village. Or rather his clan. And so Sasuke does. He immediately starts off by running straight at him, trying to do some taijutsu. You know, gonna lay some hands on him for making fun of his clan. And Orochimaru just dodges him, every single one. At this point, he brings out that Tomoe Sharingan, that two Tomoe Sharingan, and just kind of keeps up watching him, observing him as he swings those hands around over and over, trying to nail that mark. And then Orochimaru just bitch slaps him. Break! All the way back into a tree. As he's about to approach, Naruto getting even more ready, getting very low to the ground, feet wide spread apart. One hand, his right hand lifted up into the air while his left is touching and the blades of that gauntlet sinking into the earth itself, ready to strike at a moment's notice. However, before Orochimaru can make a move, Sasuke's back at it again. Fireball jutsu, anybody? Order up. He doesn't say that, but you get the idea. Sasuke launches a fireball jutsu and, well, Snake Man dodges. At this point, Sasuke's getting very, very irritated and attempts to, well, use his old family tradition of binding people. except this time in the literal sense, sending out wired shuriken and kunai to wrap around and impale the opponent, as he in turn uses fire style, fire phoenix jutsu, and attempts to just burn him away. He slips out of his Orochimaru slips out of that dead skin and begins the attack again, except this time shooting the sword out of his mouth, straight at Sasuke. However, he did not expect something. Right before he can shoot that attack out at Sasuke, he forgot to factor in the young blonde boy at the bottom who's been keeping his eyes on him the entire time. He forgot to factor in that there was more than one person he was fighting. He got a little bit too wound up with the Sharingan kid. And what happened? Well, that's quite easy. Naruto launched himself way up in the air. And when I say way up, I mean higher than frickin' Sasuke. I mean so high, he makes the High Kage go, damn! And, well, he infuses as much chakra as he thinks is necessary into his tiger claws, making them glow a very bright, almost azure blue, as he begins to spiral downwards in a corkscrew, aiming straight for the Snake Man. Oh, it's almost poetic how whenever he spirals down and makes that thudding impact, Orochimaru views this as, interesting, before shedding his skin yet again before the impact and launching himself off to another surface. Naruto is pissed. Why? That ruined his I look cool attack. That's not the name of it, but he likes it. It made him look like a badass because it was kind of badass. 2, the enemy is still alive. That also pisses him off. As he moves to the side next to Sasuke and says, "You got enough in you for another one of those?" You mean, oh yeah. Alright, sure. I'll bring the firepower. I'll bring the wind. As they both start performing hand signs. Sasuke, fire style, fireball jutsu. Naruto, wind style, wind bullet jutsu. As they both combine them together. Combustion style, wind cannon jutsu. As the giant imploding fireball sounds forth, roaring as it burns through the oxygen in the air. This surprises Orochimaru. He did not expect this overwhelming amount of force from them right off the bat. It was interesting. As they think they've won upon it colliding with the tree Orochimaru was on. Boom! Virtually every single shinobi in that forest heard that noise. Any people who were recording that and looking through it via crystal ball saw this bullshit. You know who you are, Third Hokage. Yes, everybody heard, or at least saw, the smoke trail left by this big explosion. However, upon examining it, that was rude, upon further examination after the smoke cleared, all that was there was the corpse of a snake, a giant ass snake. And before they could react, another one strikes. Because let's not forget Orochimaru. He's a beast. He is a Sannin. He can react uber fast, uber quickly, and he can change his style of battle very, very quickly. You know, like a snake. And so, the big constrictor now flies forward, going forth to, well, thrash them both. As Sasuke is the first one to get attacked. Why? Because Pedo Snake Man wants that body. Naruto, instantly reacting, wanting to save his friend, tries to climb forth, but he's not fast enough to stop the seal from being placed on Sasuke's neck. As Sasuke is then thrown to the side. Feeling sluggish, feeling drained, feeling immense searing pain and agony going through his body from the curse. Sasuke is down. Still conscious, but he can barely move. As Orochimaru thinks this will be a perfect time to try and capture him. You know, have him registered as KIA from the exams. And, in fact, he's just inside the snake. After all, it does take a long time for a snake to digest its meal. A few hours inside wouldn't harm him too badly, at least not beyond the point of him being able to be healed. And so he tries to use the snake to devour him. But yet again, he underestimated the stubborn, hard-headed, crazy MFA that is Naruto Uzumaki, who jumped straight in the way, back turned and bracing. As that snake makes impact with him, boom! He calls on every ounce of strength he has as as his feet screech forth on the bark, shattering it as he is in turn moved further and further along. The tiger claws dig into the nose of the snake, dig into the sides of its face, causing profound agony to this creature, but it still follows its master's orders to devour. However, at this moment, Naruto begins to get very angry, and so does Geras. As Naruto slightly taps into that angry side, allowing his aura to take a sharp orange tinge, and explode forth with a ravenous strength and power, throwing the snake backwards, startling Orochimaru. Because he did not realize he was dealing with the Jinchuriki. Or rather, he may have realized, but he did not realize how far along he's come. As Naruto now gets on all fours, guarding Sasuke. As Geras is not having any of this bullshit. Because let's not forget, well, the Glavenus may be a monster and Monster Hunter. In the Naruto world, summoned creatures have access to chakra. And Geras is no fool. So as long as there's a sturdy enough object, like say this giant-ass tree, yes, We now have a wall-climbing T-Rex with a giant sword for a tail. Oh yes. You can call it clowning, you can call it cartoony. I personally prefer to say it is terrifying as fuck to see a T-Rex running on a wall. Okay, I do not care what you say, that is terrifying. And so Garrus charges upwards. However, Orochimaru spots this and first reacts, "What the hell? What is that?" As Garrus quickly jumps off there and lands basically right behind Naruto. He tells him, "Let's do this, partner." Right. Naruto lunges forward, followed by Garrus. And what do? Simple. Naruto goes high while Garrus goes low. As Naruto leaps into the air, pulling out no restraints, all restraints I should say, infusing every bit of chakra he can muster into those claws of his, as they begin to glow a bright, violent red. Meanwhile, from Garrus, he charges forward, swings his tail around, grabs it in his mouth, and infuses it with as much heat as he can muster. Orochimaru, he wants to see what this can do. He wants to know how powerful this Jinchuriki is. And so, he allows it. Because Orochimaru is a scientist after all. And as long as he knows he can survive whatever the enemy will throw at him, he's willing to see what they got. Naruto comes down thrashing with an 8-angled slash. Well, I shouldn't say slashing with an 8-angled slash. That makes no damn sense. He comes down slashing. All 8 primary claws resonating and making giant gashes through the snake's head, splitting it into 16 parts, dividing it almost cleanly as the air pressure from those slashes resonate forward. But that isn't all. As Garrus follows up behind it, sending out, well, a 180-degree spiral flame slash. Now, upon making contact with the wind, ignites it, causing an astounding, loud roar of fire that burns through the snake. Orochimaru just laughs. Ay, my, as he lands on the tree limb up above. You are very interesting, Jinchuriki. I honestly didn't expect that from you. That is quite impressive. Well done indeed. But it is all for naught. Bastard! Garrus says as he lunges forward from the tree limb, skyrocketing himself very high, attempting to, well, either bite or slash at Orochimaru. However, what he doesn't realize is that upon making it there, Orochimaru isn't. And he is in fact behind Naruto. Because at this point, Naruto tries to turn around quickly, but before he can, his body is wrapped around several times over by the serpent's arms and legs. As he lifts up Naruto's shirt and alters the seal. There we go. Don't need you to be any more of a nuisance than you already are. As he quickly tosses Naruto off to the side. Garrus, now fumingly angry, dives down, swinging that sword in a 360-degree buzzsaw-like manner. Oh boy, is he pissed. But all that does is cut the giant limb that Orochimaru was on. Because Orochimaru has already fled. Naruto is falling. Sasuke is kneeling. And Sakura is doing a Sakura. Now, normally I might say I'd end it here, but... Nah! That'd be too much of an asinine move to y'all. So we're gonna keep it going just a bit longer. Sakura, as Naruto falls, Sakura, she actually does something quite useful. She catches him, breaking his fall, but somewhat injuring her in the process. Meanwhile, Garrus grabs Sasuke by the scruff of his shirt and brings him back down to ground level. As Sakura begins trying to, find shelter and heal them. Them still retaining their scroll. They're able to find a small entrance in front of a cave, you could say, where they make a temporary camp. Sakura convinces Sasuke to fall asleep as she tries to tend to their wounds. Both of them are slightly singed, because you create a giant-ass fireball. Yeah, you ain't walking away from that without a few missing eyebrows. And, Naruto, he's in pretty rough shape. Not only is the healing effect from the Nine Tails disrupted because of the alteration to the seal, but considering he spent that much chakra, his own body is having a hard time recovering as well. And so, he must wait. While Garrus just sits in the cave and lays down, keeping eternal vigilance over them. And that's where the sound ninjas pop up. Oh yes. Able to see through the deception of the false cover, of the fake, the covering, you could say. The concealment, that's it, the concealment of the entrance. With their echolocation abilities and such. They drop down and basically yell at the person inside. Come out and hand over your scroll, and we won't hurt you and your two injured friends. But you see, what they failed to recognize was the fact that there was a beast in there. Because this man believed, he must have gotten a false reading. No way that they have something like that in there. It would have eaten them, surely. as the cave entrance opens and Sakura comes out, pulling out a kunai and stating, "No, if I'm gonna go down, we're going down fighting." As they all begin to laugh. "Oh, really? What's a little girl like you going to do?" "Oh, Garrus, if you would please be so kind." "Gladly." As Garrus stomps forward, each impact of his foot on the ground resonating, letting them know how badly these three have fucked up. As when they finally see this brutish, muscular beast, yes, it is quite a shock. "Oh, okay, I did not expect that. This is not good." "You think?" The one with his face mostly covered says. As Garrus just steps forward and says, "You guard the two idiots. I need to blow off some steam." As he lets loose a powerful, echoing roar throughout the forest, which does happen to pick up the attention of a certain blonde-haired girl, a certain rotund young man, and a person with a lazy streak so powerful, so insurmountable, that it is almost unbelievable he is able to get anything done. Inashika Choi. And here's where the fun truly begins. Each one of the ninjas begins to lay on their own assault. The one with his face fully covered lays down an echoing barrage of, well, hypersonic frequencies. Meanwhile, the other man fires out a bunch of air bullets. However, Garrus is in no mood for this bullshit. How does he counteract the hypersonic frequencies? Simple. He roars. He roars loud enough to where the ripples can be seen within the air. To where his voice literally shocks the air, impacts it so powerfully that it breaks the barriers. And for those of you who've played Monster Hunter, you all know what I mean. You've seen those sons of bitches roar. You know how loud they can be. You've seen the vibrations. With just that one roar, he disrupts all three of them. As he swings his tail around as they're stunned and begins to swipe at them, narrowly missing all three of them. However, narrowly missing doesn't mean they got off clean. Each one of them has a brand new scar to remember him by. As Garrus just looks at them. That was a warning. I'm very pissed off. So you can take your bullshit. You can take your cheap intimidation. And you can run as far as you can. Or you can become my next meal. 'Cause when I'm pissed, I get hungry. factoring in their options, the three decide, you know what, probably not worth becoming lunch to a giant dinosaur looking motherfucker. And they decide to kind of take off. Just as they do, and Garrus turns around to walk back in the cave, Ina Shika Choi show up to see, well, what happened. Looks like they got it under control. Yeah. Hard to believe. Guess Naruto really has changed if he has something like that watching his back. I don't know. Looks like you can make a pretty good meal out of it. Whew. And with that, I do believe I'll end it here. Yes, I know this is a shorter part than usual, but I think I got across what I need to get across for now. And later on, I'll give you more. Don't you worry. Bye for now. Oh, crap.